Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As we've just seen, the Tongan national anthem sung out beautifully, hauntingly beautifully by a Tongan church choir. Welcome to the live stream. And now the Kiwi anthem. It's one of my favorite anthems in the world, this. And again, you can see what it means to SJ. A special anthem for a special team in a special jersey. And I will get to talking to you guys, because obviously I want to pay respects to the anthem, but I want to pay respects to you guys as well. Thank you for all coming along to what is going to be a very special game of International Rugby League. It's pretty much as close to a home game as you get for Tonga. They can't play games, in their home nation. The facilities aren't there to host an event of this magnitude. But there's such a Tongan community in New Zealand. These are essentially two home nations duking it out for a spot in the final. As we see Phoenix Crossan with tears in his eyes. Nickel Klukstad looking similar. Nafahu White as well. I make so many cases, as you guys would know, as to why this is the best version of rugby league. Just watch that. Now, Fahu White, a big front rower, a young bull, right? Tears streaming down his face. Phoenix Crosland, a tough dummy half. These men reduced to tears. You're not going to get that in club footy. I saw before this restarted, you guys talking about me doing a haka. I'm not sure I've got the cultural background to justify that. I also don't look nearly as intimidating as James Fisher-Harris does. I'll probably leave it to the NRL boys. But I appreciate the request nonetheless. V Disappointing said earlier on, Mate Ma'atonga have a shot at doing something special here tonight. They're plenty good enough to do it all. And I agree completely. We're about to see the Sippy Tau, so I won't talk through the war dances. I'll let you guys enjoy them, but I'll let you know my thoughts on the game once we've seen these dances completed. It's the best thing in rugby league. The war dances. It was, as Tiger Walker says, is pretty mean, and the haka's about to be just as mean. I've said it pretty much every live stream of these Pacific Championships, but it's one thing rugby, like no other sport in the world has this. Rugby union for sure. I'm counting rugby as the same entity here. It's special. Now, strap yourselves in for the haka, and yes, after this, I'll get to substantially talking about this game, who I'm going for, and who I think will win. There we go. That was awesome. I know I'm dropping a few frames, guys. That issue should sort itself out. But this is going to be an absolutely brilliant clash. I'm so confident of that. These two forward packs going up against one another, they are so star-studded on paper. Now, look, I was thinking all day about who I'm going for in this game, because when it comes to internationals, I've got no problem being, you know, in favor of one side. And there are reasons that I want either team to win. I want Tonga to win because every time Tonga win a game, Tonga Rugby League wins, right? It's so... I'd be disappointed if they went through a whole international calendar this year without getting a win. Then again, a part of me wants New Zealand to win because I think they are the better placed team to make a real go of it against the Kangaroos next week. So I won't really mind. I think if I had to pick one, it would be Tonga. Just because New Zealand are more established. I think a win does more for Tongan Rugby League than it does for New Zealand. But I don't mind all that much. Now, I want to mention one very special person that you guys probably all know, Tiger Walker, in the chat. Today, he became the second one of my viewers to release a video about me, which is a tough task because I do not give away a lot of information. It was a very cool video. It made me smile so much watching it. Hearing you talk about my videos and certain things you said, I thought were hilarious. It was very emotional for me. So thank you very much, mate. I mean, there's nothing I can really say verbally that will make up for the effort you probably put into that video. But thank you. Thank you for your support. And I hope for your sake that you get to see your Kiwi boys have a win today. Roosters fan, good to see you in the chat as well as we see the Tongan crowd. And this is something that we'll see as distinct from a couple of weeks ago when Tonga played the Kangaroos in Brisbane. There's going to be a sea of red. We might even hear a hymn or two. It's going to be awesome. So strap yourselves in for 80 minutes of brutal Pacific Rugby League. Here we go. That's the kickoff. If you want to sync up with me, Isaiah Katoa catches the ball and it's Jason Tamalolo onto it for the first little hit up of the game. across Hamole Olakau. No, it's not Hamole. My God, it's big. It's a center. Who I thought was as big as Hamole's at Moses Sully. Big boy. Well, here he makes a line break down the side, stopped eventually by Sean Johnson. I'll talk about a couple of you asked about signings. I'll talk about those just after we get through this set. I'll talk about the game mostly today. Good offload there from Tonga, ends up in the hands of New Zealand. I think that would have been knocked on by the Kiwis, and that's the ruling. So NRL had thoughts on May to the doggies. I was so surprised, I think as everyone was, that he was granted a release from the Roosters. That seemed so sudden. He was very good this year. I think I read somewhere that he was the only player to play every game for the Roosters this year, so it seemed odd. He would be such a good pickup for any club, but particularly the doggies. I don't imagine he'd command a lot of money, and they need a big front rower to take them to the next level, so that'd be awesome. Same as I've seen links with the Tigers, that'd be great. In terms of there being other signings from FanMade, no players have moved clubs, but a few players have re-signed. Braden Trindle, I mentioned in the video, he actually re-signed with the Sharks 45 minutes after I released the video, so that was pretty funny, but he has re-signed. And Tiger, yeah, you did pick a good thumbnail, it was pretty funny. So Tonga will get the first attacking opportunity of the game if they can get through this set. Third tackle, and they are... Oh, as we see a 6 again, so they very much will get attacking ball. They're now inside the 20. Havili at dummy half. Goes himself a little, gets across to Katoa. Now Eli Katoa. And Tonga, remember, they have not scored a point yet. These Pacific Championships couldn't break through the Kangaroos. That's what they would have been working on. The halves, the execution. They created chances, they couldn't execute them. Can they execute here? Katoa across to Sully. Gets the ball away. Looked like it was juggled by Lakawatu. He holds it. On the fourth. Katoa across to Fanua Blake. He busts through a few tackles. Nearly got open there. And they'll have one more left. And the crowd is a sea of red. Across to Isaiah Katoa. Finds Lola here. Will he put a kick through? Where he won't. Hopawadi. Trying to fight. Yes! There we go. I can celebrate my Tongan try. Hell yeah. I don't think they're going to take that off them. I don't think they're going to take that off them. I'm not sinking into my chair today. But hopefully not. The sea of red goes up. It's 4-0 to the Tongan boys. And I'm gonna try and, as the kick's being taken, sort out this frame rate problem, because I can see I'm dropping frames, looking a bit janky over here. But that I thought they'd kind of blown it a little bit by going through Hopawadi when Leaguie passed to Katoa here. It didn't look like there was a lot of room, but he got inside Warbrick, didn't have much space to work with, and does get the ball down. There we go. So I said they couldn't execute in game 1. They've executed the very first opportunity now in game 2. Let me just sort out this this frame thing. I might need to stop the camera just briefly, but it shouldn't impact the stream all that much. So very, very good stuff execution-wise there from Tonga. That's promising for them for the rest of this game. And he did well, Katoa, to stay inside the field of play. As I say, he did not have a lot of room to work with, but ended up doing what he needed to do. And now, I believe it was Katoni Stagg. Was it? No, Staggs hasn't been. I'm trying to remember who was kicking for them in game 1. Was it Katoa? Katoa's lining it up at the moment. No, Tiger, this isn't water. I'm sorting out something else. Don't worry. Okay, we back. So Isaiah Katoa from the sideline, not a noted kicker. Isako kicks for the Dolphins, but that is arrow straight. Arrow straight. And it's 6-0 for Mate Ma'atonga. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a competitive game of international rugby league on our hands. Good stuff. And I know I mentioned earlier that the crowd is a sea of red. I know New Zealand's at a little disadvantage because, you know, black jerseys, but it is an impressive turnout for the Tongan boys. And you could hear that crowd go up as Katoa got that try. Mason says, I hope Sean Johnson goes out with a bang. This might not be... I mean, if New Zealand lose this game, it will be the end for him. But if they win, he'll have a game to play next week. So he's got still a little bit to go. GR Pete, good signs for the Dolphins with Katoa's early conversion. Yeah, I didn't know he had that in his locker, to be honest. Obviously, we've seen Asako be the kicker for the Dolphins. So, yeah. And Lancaster, I always love the phrase arrow straight because arrows are notoriously bendy in the air. That's a fair point. I don't know if I've ever really thought hard about that. Straight as an arrow. Maybe I've assumed it's like a graphical arrow. Anyway, doesn't matter. Havili kicking on the fourth, just trying to pin New Zealand down in their own end. Not a bad strategy. We saw Tonga did not struggle with dominating field position against the Kangaroos, and the Kangaroos forward pack is better than the Kiwis forward pack. So that could be a very good strategy for them going forward. Caleb says, at least you didn't celebrate too early for a Tongan try. Yeah, well, I said I didn't really mind too much who wins this game, but I think I might have given it away there. Sometimes it takes a game to start and you watching it to really determine who you're going for, and it is always hard for me to not go for Tonga unless they're playing Samoa. Then I'm very happy. Danny says, going exactly how me and my friend thought it would go. Early lead for Tonga. Well, what was your prediction for the rest of the game? Jordan supporting the referees. That is a very welcome mindset on the Leaguie channel. Lancaster says, on SJ, my second favourite result for this championship is him going out with a championship here versus obviously an Aussie win. Yeah, I mean, I think Sean Johnson is one of the most liked players of this generation. So it does not shock me that, you know, people want him to succeed. And yes, Jordan, I know there's a frame rate issue. I tried sorting that out in the last break. I'll have another go. I don't want to stop the stream entirely to fix it, but we'll see if it improves. So Paul Alamotti now. It feels like Tonga have had the lion's share of possession so far. Across to Isaiah Katoa. Kicks on the last, and he was under pressure. Referee says it's fine, and it's caught by Keanu Kini, who was very impressive last week. Very impressive against the Kangaroos. We'll see whether he can back that up. And Arrowhead going to be back, no worries. And we see their physicality from Tamalolo and Olakau'atu there. Olakau'atu backing it up. Lancaster says, if Kini keeps tripping over while he's launching himself at defensive lines, he's going to be a vegetable. Age 25. That is a brutal comment, but not necessarily untrue. And Danny thinks Tonga are going to win this 24-6. Well, that would definitely be an upset. Be disappointing, says Kini, heart of a lion. The footage will last forever, don't worry. So New Zealand get to their kick. It's Daniel Tupou, the veteran, returning the ball. Up to nearly the 30-meter line. So early lead for Tonga. Lehigh Hopewadi now. Getting into the defensive line. As he is dragged back a fair bit. I mean, he's stronger than he looks, but he is still fundamentally a little guy. So that is a small weakness. Literally as well as figuratively. Havili across to Lola here. They've got a little bit of an overlap down there, but eventually racked up Olakau'atu on the fourth. A big add-in for Noah Blake. Sharks fans get excited. He's going to transform the Sharks next year. I'm super confident of that. Isaiah Katoa, boot to ball. There's a Sako underneath. Kini now across. Cannot escape Katoa. Is picked up by Kafusi. They're carrying him. Is that in goal? If it's not, no, okay. I tell you what, the goalpost saved him there. And now a penalty for New Zealand. I tell you what, the goalposts saved Keanu Kini's blushes there because he was being ragdolled. Tiger says, Lee, how's your fridge going? My fridge, luckily, is perfectly fine. Green Cobra's fridge is the one we should be worrying about. Then he says AFB is cooking them, and youch, bad penalty. It was. I mean, you see teams get overexcited when they are like on the front foot defensively, and that is literally by definition a relieving penalty. Lancaster says this might be good for New Zealand, actually. It's knocked SJ out of his dominate position and possession early and get them in the back mindset he's been falling into this year. It will be, yeah, interesting to see SJ kind of forced into that that role of playing on the back foot, with the forwards being a bit dominated. He's used to being behind a pretty good forward pack at the Warriors with Barnett, AFB and all that. So obviously this Kiwis forward pack is very good, but we'll see. As Keanu Keeney juggles it a bit, and it has been ruled a knock-on, so Tonga will have an opportunity here to potentially take this out to a 2-score lead. They'll be in good field position by the end of it. We'll see whether they can execute that. This way I can see, like in my streaming software, that I am getting janky. It's actually kind of a cool visual effect, but it's not. It's technically saying that I'm not dropping frames, so that makes it difficult to solve the problem. As I say, I don't want to completely stop the stream, but if it does get very bad, then I will. It wouldn't. To be fair, it wouldn't be a big deal stopping it and starting it up again. So I'll probably do that next scoring break we have. So Tonga with the ball, Suli rampaging. Danny likes the frame rate drop. It's like, okay, it's fine now. But yeah, sometimes. Lancaster is completely correct, and I was just about to mention that AFB getting away with a shoulder charge they showed on the replay. That's it's one that Todd Smith definitely missed, as Tonga now draw a penalty, and you will think that they'll go up to 8-0 here. Surely. If they do rule to take the 2, will they? If they do, I'll just briefly hop. Okay, they will. I'm just going to briefly stop the stream. It shouldn't be a big issue starting it up again, and hopefully the frame situation will have resolved itself. Okay, we back? I think we back. So it's Isaiah Katoa lining up a kick. Should be pretty easy for him, right in front. I've lowered the frame rate, so we should have less dropped frames. Lancaster says, all right, Tonga, remember that if you score another try, you need to miss the conversion. Can't be going in at 14-0. What's wrong with 14-0? Am I missing something? Are we back? Oh, did I just see it? Did I just see a dropped frame? I hope not. Isaiah Katoa does add 2 points to the board. And it's all Tonga in the early stages, 8-0 for the boys in red. And obviously, there's a very, very long way to go in this game. I don't want to think too far ahead to next week, but this is a much improved looking Tongan side to what we saw against the Kangaroos. And I maintain Tonga were pretty good against the Kangaroos, but they seem to be able to capitalize on the opportunities that they're getting so far. So the ball does bounce, and it's Sione Katoa, one of the several Katoas in this Tongan side. Coming back. Caleb says the goat of YouTubers, aka the Leaguie. Let's go. And yes, Tiger, you did a very good job pronouncing Jugru. I've heard some pretty atrocious attempts at my surname over my my short life so far. So yeah, you did a good job. Oh, okay. And Lancaster clarifies there. 14-0 is a famous comeback curse, especially if it goes in at halftime. Apologies for not remembering that. But I'll try to remember it for next time. Well, let's hope it's not 14-0 then from a Tongan perspective. As they show the stats, their territory 94% for Tonga. That is impressive stuff. That is very impressive. Danny, your uncle is Sam Walker. I know it. So CA&K, I'm very curious to see how Nickel Klokstad goes in this game. I feel that last week against the Kangaroos, it was all down Sean Johnson's edge. We didn't see much from Nickel Klokstad, as we got a knock on there from New Zealand. Sione Katoa felt that he could play on there. Another opportunity here, Matt Timoko knocks that on. Another opportunity here for Tonga. Lancaster's claiming a high tackle. Yeah, I defend referees to the ends of the earth. I've made several videos about defending referees. I have to admit, Todd Smith is not my favorite. I was surprised to see that he was given this game. I think he has a tendency to miss these things, and an instance like that is not just his fault. I don't know who's the touch judges for this game, but I've been a touch judge at the international level. I know something like that, the near touch judge should be seeing that, but it is kind of poor to have missed that. Now we got, oh, okay, we got a blood situation. As we see, there is a bit of rain there as well. That's going to impact things. Tiger says you made 3 videos on referees. There we go, more than I thought. And B. Milner, Leaguie, what is the difference between cup and bowl for the Pacific Championship? Wikipedia made me confused. It is a confusing layout. So, the Pacific Championship, which is the cup part of it. Oh, sorry, Pacific Championship is the whole thing. The cup part of it is the top 3 teams, which is Australia, New Zealand, and Tonga. The bowl part of it is the other 3, PNG, Cook Islands, and Fiji. On final day, which is next week, the winner of this game, and we'll play the Kangaroos, so the top 2 from the top tier of it, the cup. The winner of the bowl will play the 3rd place team in the cup for a promotion to next year's cup. It's a little less complicated than it initially sounds, but yeah, it's a bit to get your head around. Danny says Paul's actually the GOAT. I guarantee he's going to be held in the same regard as Critter by the end of his career. Paul Alamotti, I assume, yeah, he's had a rough upbringing. He lost his mother at a very early age, so for him to be at this level, so was it his mother? Maybe it was his father. Either way, he lost a parent. I can't remember exactly which, at an early age. And my I won't go into detail too much because Alamotti might not necessarily want the details shared, but my grandmother actually taught Paul Alamotti religious education when he was very young, and he struggled to deal with the loss of his parent. He turned to rugby league. Someone suggested he turned to rugby league as an outlet, and he's never looked back. So yeah, my grandmother remembers quite fondly, and when Alamotti won the grand final this year and scored a try, she was very emotional. So it was yeah, I love Paul Alamotti, as we do see him now take a hit up. P-mail, no study for your exam, bro. Exams are more important than rugby league. And Tiger, I can confirm that is not my middle name, but good attempt. JR Pete says, Everything Rugby League interviewed a board member of the IRL on their changes to World Cup and a new World Series concept on Test Footy. Okay, I will, you sent a link there. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can copy that. I'll come back to it after the stream anyway, because obviously that's very much of interest to me. So Peter Hiku for the Hull Kingston Rovers, hitting it up now over the 30. New Zealand, I feel, are now wrestling back just a little bit of territory. Just a bit. We saw last week, it was a big topic of conversation between me and I think it was Lancaster specifically about dropping under, and the hope being that it would wear down the Kangaroos by the end. And we saw the opposite being true, which was somewhat illogical. As SJ, okay, not the best kick of his career there. Tonga get a win. But yeah, I was going to say, they don't seem to be doing this exact same drop under all the time so far in this game. We'll see whether that continues. So Alamotti now, well into the New Zealand half. I tell you what, if Tonga do score next, I know we talk about 14-0 and all that. If Tonga do score next, it's all of a sudden got quite big on New Zealand. Tamalolo play the ball across to Lola here, who it just seems to be a little bit sharper for Tonga so far compared to a couple of weeks ago. Lola here, okay, kick in behind. I tell you what, left by New Zealand. What's the ruling? Play, no, it's not play on, knock on. What have we got? Okay, we've got a captain's challenge here. I've got to say, I thought it was all backwards off New Zealand. Okay, Tonga are challenging. To be honest, I thought, I mean, live, I thought Tonga knocked on, New Zealand didn't knock on. But we'll see what we got. So Lola here, is the back row offside there? Okay, the raw inconclusive, but they'll support that. The onside decision. So Katoa, I thought he cleanly missed it. And he did. What have we said here? So, sorry, yeah, I thought Katoa had got his hands to the ball. He looks like he hasn't. And then is Kiwi. So yeah, I thought all backwards off from New Zealand. Okay, so it looks like they'll just retain the challenge. I can't see, they haven't said successful or unsuccessful. I think that's a successful challenge given the ruled mutual infringement. The ruling has changed. Like it should have just been play on. So yeah, inconclusive. So not necessarily a waste of a challenge because they will keep it. But good to see. I mean, you know, kicking when an opportunity was there was Lola here, and Katoa was in the right place to have a go at it. Good offload there to Leo Thompson, whose brother has signed for the Newcastle Knights. I believe he plays as a hooker in rugby union, so that'll be interesting for Newcastle moving forward. I think they've told Jaden Brayley he can explore his options. As Todd Smith's now looking back, and we do have a penalty for contact on Sean Johnson. See, psychologically, I can understand that New Zealand are going to tap and go here, but tactically speaking, I would think the best thing to do is take the 2. Yeah, look, it's a soft one, but they do rule that you can't do that. Target Dylan Chadwick Jogru, how's life? Life is outstanding because I'm streaming and you are all here, and that makes me happy. There are 40 concurrent viewers. My God, that is crazy. Thank you all for being here. Chris, I agree. Tonga do physically look better, but we're very, very early into the game. Not even a quarter of the way through, so that will swing. I'm quite confident. New Zealand, this is their first proper attacking set of the game. We'll see what they can come up with here. Tarpany hitting it up. Plays it to Crossland. Across to SJ. Now there's a bit of space. Keeney stepping around. He's wrapped up. Will we see CNK getting a little more of a tacky ball? That's a dodgy play of the ball. And my God, the passion there from Tui Maulololo here. He was into it. Look, Keeney is coming off a really good game last week. He's had a bit of a rough start to this one, but it is tough conditions. That's a pretty simple error though. We'd call that a rookie mistake, and he's a rookie, so I can forgive him for it. But he does. I mean, he's playing a very integral role for New Zealand today. He has to get his head well and truly into the game. V Disappointing says, Kiwi's shape looks okay, but the ball is made of banana peels. They do seem to be very much struggling with the wet weather. As Katoa is through the line now, chased by Timoko, eventually stopped by Kiwi. That was a little easy off the scrum. Havili now, across to Alamotti, wrapped up by Thompson. Danny says, who won Dalian News Corp journalist? I'll get to that in a moment. We've got Tonga on an absolute roll. The New Zealand defense looked very early up there. I'm surprised. Okay, ruled 6 again, yeah. Doesn't shock me. Taumalolo now into the line. Hitting it up with Leo Thompson. Across Lola here. Ola Kawata, they are just making meters with their big boys here, the Tongans. Havili across to Lola here. Taumalolo winding up again for his second run of the set. Taumalolo is absolutely into it. Be Disappointing makes a good point. The Kiwis are getting up in defense a bit more. Fanua Blake, there was a gap there. There is a gap there. He's straight through. One-on-one with Keeney. And you got to think he's got the ball to ground there. Addin, Fanua Blake, Tonga. Where was this? Where was this a couple of weeks ago? New Zealand were heavily favoured in this game, but Tonga, they seem up for this on a completely other level to the Kiwis right now. Danny says future shark at his finest. For much of Fanua Blake's career, I didn't rate him all that highly. But since moving to the Warriors, he just went to a completely other level, and that is the ultimate front rowers try. Identified the gap behind the ruck there, got inside Thompson, and one-on-one with Keeney, just you cannot stop him. Lancaster says Jason Tamalolo and AFB are out for blood today. AFB clear man of the match so far. They are just up for it. They are so up for it. Tiger, my condolences. Look, it's still very early days, and we will see 14-0. So that's why Lancaster's saying miss the conversion, miss it. But I highly doubt they will. I just saw, by the way, blue shirt for Tonga, Will Hopewadi. One of the original players that started this Tongan revolution. Very cool to see him back. I just want to say, so to answer Danny's question on Dally M, News Corp Journalist of the Year. For those of you that don't understand the reference, at the end of my last video, I said, give me a transfer predictions in the comments below. Most baseless and outlandish prediction wins Dally M, News Corp Journalist of the Year. I'm just going to give me a moment to find the guy's name, because there was one guy that said something and I was like, that is just so incredibly baseless. I just have absolutely no idea where you've even got that idea from. Let me see. Okay, I'll commentate the conversion. Easy as you like across the black dot. Katoa does make it 14-0. So, Dally M, News Corp Journalist of the Year, I am happy to announce goes to Adam Waters 9110, who said that his bold prediction is that Alex Johnston, despite being super close to the all-time try-scoring record, does not play beyond next year for the Rabbitohs. He said not necessarily retirement, but he won't be at the Rabbitohs. Adam, if you're watching, please explain. He replied to a comment where I was asking for an explanation, being like, last time Wayne was at the club, there was, a little bit of tension between the two, potentially. AJ moves on, and it was exactly what I was looking for, just completely baseless. So good stuff from Adam there, but lots of very strong contenders from everyone. I can't remember exactly who said it, but Katoni Staggs of the Tigers was another one of my personal favorites. I think that might have been Danny. Chris says, what do you call Kalfusi's haircut? You can't call it anything but the Kalfusi, and I love the fact that he's so committed to the bit. Mary King says, go Tonga. Yes, we've got a very pro-Tonga chat at the moment. Lancaster says, Will Hopper was one of my favourites back in 2011 when I first really got into footy. That was a good year. Yeah, I mean, he had a really long career. People forget he went over to St. Helens and was a bit of a hero for them. So, a very good player. Knock on both ways. Tonga are going to get the ball here. Keanu Kini is having a bit of a mare, unfortunately. He's having a bit of a nightmare. And it's all coming up red. It is all coming up red. Forget put it all on black. If you're playing roulette tonight, it's red's the way to go. Not that I'm promoting gambling. Alex Neal, I agree completely. How dare you talk such blasphemy about my AJ? It is, look, it's not my prediction. It was Adam's prediction. But it was so outlandish, I thought I had to reward it. Look, Lancaster, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Don't worry. Tackled opposition half 25-4. Now across through Katoa, going himself, trying to get an offload there. Good thing he held that. It was only the first tackle. But New Zealand are looking shaky here. Alamotti across. Oh, damn. I thought he was going out to Havili, but Katoa hits it short. This V Disappointing says Keeney prefers a dry track. He's a dry track player, but, you know, you have to be able to play in all conditions. Papali'i now. Fanua Blake across to Lola here. Moses Sully rampaging. Playing the ball. Havili. Lola here now. Katoa digs into the line, goes himself. And I agree, Lancaster, they do look likely. They do look likely. Katoa now. They're dominating the contact every single time. They're just not quite getting over there. Havili himself, he's claiming it. He's claiming it. The sea of Tongan players goes up. Todd Smith rules a try. My God, ladies and gentlemen, 18-0. It's an Warren Smith calls it an avalanche. It is an avalanche, and it is tremendously an upset. I'm looking at the odds. The odds going into this game, Tonga were $3. This is huge. This is a really big game for Tongan Rugby League, and there's a long way to go. Long way to go. They have to now execute from now on. They can't let it slip, but they are playing with the kind of quality and particularly the kind of determination and commitment that can let you beat the Kangaroos. Be disappointing. The Tongan flag is going to drive up and down Great South Road all night at this rate. Mate, I live in Canberra, right? And I've mentioned this before on stream, but one of my favorite ever moments of being a rugby league fan, it was during the World Cup. Tonga were playing Samoa. I was just walking to the shops in the city of Canberra, and there were parades of cars going up and down the main street of Canberra with Tongan flags, Samoan flags, beeping all together. And I tell you what, it brought such a smile to my face. They love it. They absolutely love it. Sean Johnson lays down the law. New Zealand, I'm rarely this harsh, but they need to wake up. They need to match the physicality because they are just not there at this point. Timobo says, are we about to see a rout? At this rate, well and truly. I don't think we will. I think the Kiwis will come back up to it, but the Tongans, the players and the crowd, they are up for this. Danny says, I told you, this is exactly how I said it. Exactly like Game 2 of Origin, I knew it. I doubted you. I doubted the prediction, but it's proven well and truly correct so far. Well and truly. Just going back a little bit, JR Pete says Kiwis look shell-shocked, and yeah, that proved to be true, but he's correct again in saying 51 minutes of football left. Anything could happen. So Katoa lining up the kick now. And it is just out to the left, but 18-0, I mean, you still take that for sure. Danny says, I thought it was going to be 20-0 at halftime. Well and truly could be. There's 11 minutes to go. Yeah, they could well and truly get a penalty and take it out to 20. Zion says, come on, common Aussie? Or come on Aussie? Are you calling me a common Aussie? Because when it comes to International Rugby League, I am well and truly not a common Aussie. I don't even go for the Kangaroos, so not too sure about that one. Lancaster says, I hope this isn't a crystal ball for New South Wales post-Madge. Agreed. I'm absolutely stunned by how little a talking point it is, who the next New South Wales coach is, but I'm focused on internationals for now. A week from now, when Pacific Championships is done, I'll start panicking about Origin. Be disappointed though, says Coach Madge, I cry out to you, but you have taken you here too far to hear my screams. Where have you gone? We need you. I don't blame him for taking the job at the Broncos, but yeah, the New Zealand side seem to be lacking that kind of just coaching prowess at the moment. Tex says, low-key disappointing way for SJ to go out. Long way to go, mate. It could be an absolutely awesome way for him to go out, making a comeback from 18-0 down. Yes, Pete says, I'm the Concord Dutchman. So Moses Sully now putting boot to ball down the side. Is it going to be let over the sideline? It's not. Keeney wrapped up a meter from his goal line. Chris says Chance is not a 6. They certainly don't seem to be playing with him as a 6. I said I'm curious to see what he does with the ball. Still very little. It's the SJ show at the moment. Tiger says the only ones who have improved after Madge are the Tigers. Didn't Madge finish 9th with you? I'm not too sure. Well, look, you know the Tigers better than me. But from my memory, Madge finished 9th with you guys. Will Warbrick now hitting it up. The first thing New Zealand have to solve fundamentally is holding the ball. Survive for the rest of this first half. Hold the ball. Don't let Tonga get out to any more of a lead. But Daniel Tupou returning the ball gets up to the 40. Like, the field position is just... It's domination. And Tiger says he won a spoon with us. Fair enough. And I did say the Tigers had a very positive year this year. So I'll back that. Leaguie takes it over halfway. And now Taniela Paseka from Manly Warringah takes it over the 40. Sonny Luke himself finds Katoa. Now across to other... I should really stop saying Katoa because about half of this Tongan team are Katoas. On the fourth, broad milking there. Looked like Timoko was holding on a little too long. Across now to Siwa Wong, who's playing, of course, instead of Keon Matagi, who I believe is missing this due to a family matter. Might be birth of a child from memory? Not sure. Chipped in behind Warbrick. He has knocked it on. I said the one thing that they have to do is hold the ball, and Will Warbrick, without even getting to the first tackle, I tell you what, I thought he caught it up. He caught the ball a little unconventionally, and it just dropped dead. Caleb says the Leaguie thoughts on the 2025 Cowboy jersey and team list. Haven't seen the team list. The jersey, I was messaged by a mate who's a Cowboys fan who's described himself as whelmed, but then it kind of grew on him a bit. I like the fact that it's quite similar to a previous jersey you guys had where you had like the red Toyota sponsorship. I like the fact that Toyota sponsorship isn't red. But as I suspected, the logo makes it look like you're the North Queensland 30ers rather than Cowboys. But yeah, the jerseys are pretty fine. So first tackle for Tonga. Again, a brilliant attacking opportunity for them. Isaiah Katoa finds a couple of guys underneath him. Paseka, the man mountain, on the second. And they are holding on for dear life here, the Kiwis. Isaiah Katoa underneath Tamalolo on his Cowboys teammate Griffin Neem. Bent backwards a little bit there, eventually wrapped up. And Caleb, yeah, I agree. It is a combination there. Tamalolo, a bit of an issue here. Looks like he might just be winded. He's not grabbing his legs or anything. Danny says, Leaguie thoughts on my Tigers signing predictions. I'm trying to remember them. You were talking about Terrell May earlier. I could definitely see that happening. I think it's between Bulldogs and Tigers. But I think he would much rather go to the Bulldogs. So that's going to be the issue for them. So across... Sonny Luke himself, and he gets over. The Penrith Panther bamboozled them. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, not 24, 22-0. It's a good day to be a Tongan. I tell you what, you know what happened? I'll give you a theory. If you believe in the rugby league gods, I bet the rugby league gods were up there in rugby league heaven watching YouTube. As I'm dropping frames again, whatever. They were watching YouTube and they saw the short that I made of Keon scoring and me sinking deep into my chair. And they said, you know what? That guy deserves better. We're gonna make Tonga score 22, probably 24 points in one half of footy next time they play. This is pretty special. And look, I'm sorry to any Kiwi fans in the chat. I know there are quite a few, but I love my international rugby league and I love my Tongan boys. Just going to disable the video for a moment. It's very weird because my software is literally saying drop frame 0, so I'm not sure. But anyway, one guy mentioned earlier, JRP, Leaguie, your thoughts on Chance playing 5'8" for the Kiwis? Was it a blunder to put him there, or is it a bluff by Stacey? It's hard to comment because he doesn't seem to be playing 5'8". Like, I know he's wearing jersey number 6, but they're barely going down his side, and they barely went down his side last week either. In terms of the other options they had, I believe, was Cody Nikorima fit? That might have been a better option for them. I can see why Chance would work as a running 5'8", but they haven't given him the chance, so it's a weird one to me. Be disappointed, says Rugby League gods loving this. And yeah, I agree with him in saying Chance is a good running threat. They just haven't used the running threat, so I don't get it. Katoa puts the ball over the sticks. It's 24-0. We were worried that they were going to go ahead 14-0. It's 24. It's 20. And I tell you what, I feel the Pacific Championships kind of needed this. Having seen Australia win the first 2 games, a lot of people just disregard the fact that PNG upset Fiji, which was a big moment as well. But anyway, to see a moment like this is very, very cool. Very cool. Danny says, Bulldogs much more interested in Leo Thompson currently. We are making room for Terrell. His manager's gone on record to say that we need space in the top 30 and he'll go. Currently, we're trying to move on Sullivan. Okay, well, that's pretty reputable. The Tigers are moving on space in their top 30. I have heard that. The thing that makes me concerned from a Tigers perspective is I very much doubt Leo Thompson will leave the Knights, given they've just signed his brother. It would be very weird for him to now move, now that his brother has come to the same club. As okay, we finally see Tonga with we finally see the Tongan Avalanche disrupted. I was curious as to what Adam Fanil-Blake was doing there. Was he ruling a captain's challenge? I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so I doubt Thompson's going to move on. So it could just be that the Bulldogs get caught holding the bag, that May goes to the Tigers, which I would really like that. But if the Bulldogs are in the race for a front rower, I would expect them to go quite hard for Terrell. Lancaster says, at this rate, we might see the Kiwis be knocked out of premiership contention. Oh no. Might concede 50. That's a pretty funny comment. Johnson across short to Griffin Neem. Put him in a hole, but was just tripped over. Danny says, Keeney acting more like a 5'8". CNK certainly isn't. Be disappointing. Leaguie, we need the commentator's curse. Stand up, maybe. I do not want a commentator's curse these Tongan boys. SJ, as we rule with C6 again, SJ goes across now with Pede Hiku, inches from the line. But they do have 6 again. Papali'i goes himself, and he does burrow his way through. It's 24-6. I tell you what, that was needed. That was super needed. Just before halftime. Good stuff from Isaiah Papali'i identifying that the Tongan markers, if you can call them that, on the goal line, were not quite ready for him to go underneath, and it was good stuff to get over there. Let's see on the replay. Yeah, he identified the chance getting into dummy half and just burrows his way through. So that is good in the sense that the very first error that Tonga made was punished by the Kiwis. They've only really been down this end of the field twice. So their execution is not necessarily the worst, as SJ is well and truly up for this. Look at that passion he's showing. Be disappointed, says 24-point try if you do a haka right now, Tiger. Oh yeah, scoreboard is wrong. Sorry, it's not 24-6, 24-4. My bad. Might be 24-6 in a moment though. Isako does get it in. I don't know why I keep calling Isako Katoa. I think it's same letters being used. Anyway, it is now 24-6. Oh god, we've got another Buzz Rothfield impersonation request. Here we go. Caleb says, same Buzz's voice. Bryth, I think Leaguie's name is Dylan Chadwick Chattels Jagru. I'll take that. Maybe I'll legally change my name to that. Lancaster says, saw this on Reddit. Sean probably regretting coming back out of retirement. Now he will be remembered getting flogged by Tonga in his last game instead of the miracle comeback Wars win. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll separate his time with the Warriors from his time with New Zealand. I think he'll be happy he answered the call of his country, but we'll see. It's just because Reddit's been mentioned there. A bit of an announcement for you guys. Something happened today which put the biggest smile on my face out of absolutely nowhere. I did not see this coming. You are officially watching a live stream of r/NRL's latest mod. It's probably my favorite online community. I've been part of it for years. And yeah, they had an opening in the mod team. They approached me. I believe the YouTube channel was quite a reason why they did. So yeah, if any of you guys are not already on r/NRL, well worth joining up, especially with your boy as a mod from now on. New Zealand knock it on with 2.5 minutes to go, and I will tell you what, if they concede here to Tonga, all that momentum, all that good work that they got out of that Papali'i try, gone. That was poor. Their handling has been such an Achilles heel for them so far in this game, and I know it's wet weather, but you have to play the conditions. It's wet weather for Tonga as well, so as Cooper Cronk just announces, there's 7 errors in their first half for New Zealand. You don't expect that from a test team. Like us says, well, that explains why Auto Mod's back from Bali usually is completely useless during internationals. Yeah, well, I had to say to the mod team today, I know it's my first day, but I won't be able to moderate the match threads because I'm live streaming. But yeah, no, very much looking forward to it from now on. So Tonga with Tupanua, the Bulldogs recruit, coming back through the middle there. On the third, I imagine they'll be somewhat conservative. Okay, here's a question for you guys. Towards the end of this set, do you maybe set up for a field goal, get out by 19 points? That seems like a pretty dominant strategy to me. I don't think that's what they'll be thinking though. As Siwa Wong now up through the middle. They set up pretty well for it. Will they pull the trigger? No, they won't. Katoa. Lola here now does get boot to balls. Should just, easily wrapped up there by Isako. But penalty to New Zealand. Okay, if that was a penalty, Tonga, it would have gone the 2 for sure, I would think. Tiger says, did you do anything for Halloween? I did not. Not a big celebrator of Halloween. I've got exams as well around this time, so didn't want to celebrate all that much. Like Hudson says, we can engage in corruption now that we have someone on the mod team. I'm not going to be giving a preferential treatment just yet. I have to earn their trust, and then I'll be corrupt. Be disappointing. In last minute heroics, SJ comes out of retirement to get flogged by only 19. I hope for his sake not, but for International Rugby League's sake, I hope maybe more than 19. Hiku across to Osaka, has a little bit of space out there, is eventually wrapped up. SJ, big looping pass out to the side. I tell you what, that's begging to be intercepted. CNK, there's no time left on the clock. Offloading again. They are tempting fate here. Keanu Keeney with the ball. He's not going to die wondering. Does get across to Sorensen. Inside Paul Alamotti. Out to his winger. Chaos. Absolute chaos. Alex Neal says, the pro to anti-field goal spectrum spans from field goal on one end to me on the other. I'm always a supporter of field goals. I'm very much on your end of the spectrum, for sure. Lancaster, CNK is just the next example of the 1-to-6 pump line being an extremely flawed universal rule. It is, but I fundamentally think that it's hard to almost criticize him because the ball hasn't gone his way. It's been all Sean Johnson, and it was all Sean Johnson last week, and I'm really surprised that they haven't addressed that. So yeah, weird one. Also, guys, apologies again because the frames are dropping, and I don't know why. Absolutely no idea why. I'll let me just reset that camera there. You got Garfield on my days. Garfield appearance. It happens every stream. Maybe that'll fix it. Is that better? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, Caleb says, I'm sad I missed the Sippy Tower and the Haka. They were pretty cool, but you'll be able to see, I'm sure, on YouTube. They always upload little replays of them. Danny says that Samoa game made me depressed. Game 1, I take it. I assume, is it tonight, the second game? This is the thing, I'm kind of avoiding the result. I was avoiding the result last time, so much so that I completely got the date of the game wrong. But assuming the second game hasn't been played yet, I think Samoa will respond in a pretty big way from game 1. And yes, Garfield mentioned. I mean, I feel it would feel wrong to go through a stream now without Garfield, surely. Oh, okay, now my streaming software has dropped frames 101. Okay, that's a bit bigger than it used to be. Anyway. So, 24-6. 24-6 to Tonga. If it was going to be 24-6 at half time, I would have ruled the other way for sure. It goes to show what I know about rugby league, right? especially international rugby league. But the emotion that some of the big Tongan boys are playing with, Tamalolo being back to a rampaging forward that he is, Adam Fanua Blake with that ultimate props try, they're doing really good. They're doing really good. Tiger says, what do you use to edit your videos? DaVinci Resolve. It's a free software. I know most content creators use Premiere Pro. I have been making videos for a very long time. So I've been used to using Resolve. So it just sort of made sense. Lancaster says, I swear to God, the only explanation for that Samoa game was that they were still recovering from Critter's wedding. Yeah, I mean, okay, so we are talking about game one. Yeah, I mean, I actually only watched the extended highlights of it. I wasn't able to avoid the score, and then I didn't want to sit through the whole shebang. So I find it a little hard to comment on, but it was interesting, like, considering how up for it they were to start the game with the Civital, is that their one? To then not really show up in the way they were playing, and the way it just devolved towards the end of the game was quite disappointing. So with the push and shove, the sort of fight. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting better from them in game two. I think one factor that people aren't accounting for enough is that England would have been super up for it to get revenge for the World Cup game. Because England fancied themselves to win that tournament on home soil. So they were up for it. So a lot of it is not necessarily Samoa being bad, but England being good. Dennis says Samoa should hit back next one, I'm hoping at least. Yeah, I'm quite confident that they do. Timon says, NZ, Tonga, Samoa, all these teams are a mixture of themselves, aren't they? There's definitely an overlap in eligibility. But yeah, I guess it sort of depends what you mean by mixture of themselves. Some guys like, Siwa Wong, he's eligible for Fiji, Tonga, I believe Australia, and maybe even New Zealand as well. So it's what we've got with migration. We're getting these multi-ethnicity kids who can play for a lot of different nations. And it's a good thing for rugby league. It's a very good thing for rugby league. And the more players that pick lower ranked nations, the better our sport will be. Be disappointing says, lose the haka and drop the ball. Let it be a warning to you boys. Lancaster says, I love some push and shove, but it's disappointing to only see it at the end when you're getting smacked around. Just makes you look salty. Yeah, and that's I agree completely, and that was my criticism of it. It looked like frustration. The way Terrell May, what was he doing to instigate that? He was just holding the English player, not letting go. I'm not really sure why. But regardless, it was disappointing from Samoa, but as I say, I'm super confident that they'll be up for game two. Adam says, dude, I'll call it now, you'll work for Channel 9. That's, yeah, a aspiration, a dream. We'll see. But, I mean, my goal for now, I'm hoping to make this YouTube thing self-sustaining, to be able to do this as a career. And luckily, I'm still at uni. I've got a couple of years left before I need to enter the workforce. Hopefully by then I would have built this up into something that can sustain me. So yeah, and it's all thanks to you guys, all thanks to you subscribing. If you're not subscribed already, I know there's quite a few of you here. It'd be massively appreciated if you do. We've exceeded like every goal that I have had for the growth of this channel. We started it in February, so to be this big is huge for a rugby league channel. So thank you all so much, and yeah, we're getting bigger every day. So if you're not subscribed, please do join along. Be disappointing says Leaguie to legacy media. Maybe yes, maybe no. Same amount of work, but you don't own it. A radio show would be doable on the side. It would, yeah. I've thought about because I mean every man and his dog has a podcast. I'm not likely to start my own podcast just because I think I'm better at the YouTube thing, and I think there's a gap in the market for quality NRL YouTubers that I'm gonna try and fill. But I grew up right on the Bloke in a Bar podcast. I've listened to the bloke for 5 years, so I know he's interviewed content creators in the past, like the NRL roast, for example. It's a pipe dream, I think, but my goal is to be involved with Bloke in some capacity as one thing. And then that would, if I was involved with them, it would allow me to also do my own YouTube thing. That would be awesome. But it's all down the line. But yeah, I mentioned Reddit today. A moment like that, being invited to be a mod of r/NRL, thanks, or at least in part to the YouTube stuff, that's a really cool moment for me. So I was very happy with that. Be disappointed, says Denon Camp, you need to make the call. Well, I'm pretty sure they know of me. Denon has watched at least one of my videos before, because he spoke about it on one of his podcasts. And I won, they had the Beaks Bag segment where you ask a question. I was the first ever winner of that, and they announced the Leaguie. So I think they know me. But yeah, I just have to keep working at this, and hopefully they'll take more notice. JR Pete says, I'm looking forward to the 2025 Ashes series, Great Britain versus Australia. I heard it's going to be held in England. Old Trafford is going to be nothing but pommy football chants. That will be very cool. And it will be interesting from a Pacific Championships perspective, because I think we'll have a much more competitive tournament here for that, with it being New Zealand, Samoa, and Tonga competing. I mean, I would still rank New Zealand as the best of those sides, but as we're seeing literally now, 24-6 at half time. So that's a tournament that I'd be looking forward to, separate from the Ashes. But the Ashes, of course, yeah. I do have to admit, so for big domestic rugby league games in England, club games, the crowds show up. But I was quite disappointed with the crowd for Game 1 against Samoa, considering it's in Wigan. In Wigan, the national side against a very good international team, I was quite disappointed with the crowd. So hopefully the crowd for Game 2 is bigger to then justify playing at a place like Old Trafford. But honestly, I don't know if they've confirmed that they're going to play at Old Trafford, but if the crowd for Game 2 is not as good, I think it would almost be a bit embarrassing to play at Old Trafford, because the crowd would not be very good. So we'll see. Danny says, Terrell May goes to the Tigers on a 3-year deal. I think Bulldogs just aren't there, IMO. They're going to get caught up with Leo, who will just go to Knights again, and Terrell May will sign by the Tigers by then. If Terrell May signs for the Tigers, my view of them going into next season increases so much. And the same is true for the Bulldogs. I have a fear that the Bulldogs are going to be one of these teams that we see jump up out of nowhere and then revert back. And all logic points to that not happening, but we always see it. There's always a team every year that does it. I hope it's not them, because we saw a lot of really strong moments from them this season. But if Terrell signs for them, that's very big. If Terrell signs for the Tigers, I think that's even bigger. Lancaster, I do dislike this score though. That should be a full-time score, not a half-time score. Inflation's hit rugby league harder than any other sector. Yeah, I'm not sure if you were here when I last spoke about this, but I was talking about a finals game that I watched recently. 2013, week 1 of the finals, Roosters played Seagulls, and the Roosters won 4-0. And look, that was notable at the time. That was very rare at the time. Right now, unthinkable. And I think the 6 again rule has been a positive change to bring in new fans, but to the purists like me, it is a shame. And like you guys as well. If you're here, watching a guy watch rugby league, you're a purist by my count. So it is a shame, but I think for the long-term health of the sport, it is probably a good thing, and we do get used to it. Adam says, what's your opinion on Panthers next year? I think Storm are going to go into the season as favourites, and there will be favourites for me as well, probably. But I don't see the Panthers dropping back much at all. I know I really rate Luai, but I also rate the ability of Blaze Talangi to come in and just thrive in a really high quality system. So I don't think they'll struggle very much at all. Tiger says apparently New Zealand beat India in cricket or something. That would be pretty big. Damn. If that's true. Waz Edits, Kiwis are selling themselves so hard. Can I get a shout out? I'm sub. Well, there you go, Waz Edits. Absolutely. And yeah, we've been talking about it in the first half a lot. It's ball control. They've really struggled with ball control, and Tonga have, unlike a couple of weeks ago, been able to capitalize on the opportunities that they've got. So yeah, they just that's not something New Zealand can afford to do. FC Sports, good to see you here. And be disappointing. I'm trying to figure out what that comment means. Diddy was getting his baby oil from some MMT faithful. You reckon the Tongan baby oil industry's pretty strong? And Wise Edit says, I've watched every NRL game this season. It took me 9 days. You sat down and watched every... That is like the full game. That's crazy. Jesus. I wouldn't even do that. That is mental. Wow. Well done. Congratulations. Lancaster says, I can't say I think signing Terrell is a positive yet, not until we know why the sudden shapeshift from possible leader of international tier pack to we don't want him to see... Sorry, we don't see him as part of us. That's very valid. And yeah, I mean, anything I say, I'm operating on the information that's available now. Terrell did say on Instagram that it's not due to off-field things, and Angus Crichton confirmed that. And of course, take that with a grain of salt. I think that it's possible both parties are telling the truth here. I think it's quite possible that the Roosters identified perhaps not like behavioral problems, but maybe attitude problems with Terrell, and thought, okay, in the fullness of time, as he matures, we'll be able to resolve these issues. And maybe they feel that they can't. They feel, no, actually we're wrong about him. He's a bit too far gone in that direction. So it could just be that. It could be that is not part of the style of player they're trying to build. But it's certainly weird. It is certainly very unusual. I think he's a very, very good player. I don't think his off-field antics can be that bad. One thing I do know, and this isn't, I'm not like necessarily making a point here, I just know it to be true. There was a real friend group in the Roosters this season of Joseph Suaalii, Joseph Manu, Terrell May, and Satili Tupanua. And with Manu, Suaalii, and Tupanua all gone, maybe they just feel like Terrell, kind of part of his group is gone. He might not just fit in with what we've got left. Wasang Paul, who scored the first try, it was Tonga through Sione Katoa. Lancaster says, everyone knows what League is predicting next year. His one-eye prediction is Shanghai Sharks undefeated, winning every game by 30 plus. Of course. I'm not saying I'm a Sharks fan, but I am a Shanghai fan. Danny says, Terrell would be massive for us. He'd take our forward pack to the next level, and someone who could properly lead them. He really would. So we see kickoff, and is that a knock on there from Marata Niukore? Boys, I said it. You said it. Everyone said it. Handling. I have no doubt Stacey Jones would have been like, boys, handling. Hold that freaking ball. Hold on to it. And the literal first touch. Are you mad? Are you mental? Wow. We see a dropout, and Tonga will be right on the attack again. That is mental. JR Pete says, as a former referee, if Panthers get a fifth flag, do you think they do rule changes to even the comp, just like they did with the 11th Street St. George? It's hard to say. I don't think so, just based on the fact that we've we've had the same premiers for 4 years in a row, and the game is in a very strong place, arguably stronger than ever. So I don't think that the difference in interest between 4 in a row and 5 in a row would be all that drastic. Roosters fan, I fair enough with the whole asking for mod thing, but I've closed off my mods for now. In future, definitely open to increasing them though, just not at the moment. So Tonga on the last tackle now, 5 meters out from the New Zealand line. Sonny Luke does go himself, little grubber in behind, not a bad option, grounded by CNK. I know I'm probably missing a few comments here, just trying to get up to date Be disappointing. All my homies do the in-goal knock-on. It's the coolest. Murata would certainly agree. Lancaster, this is back on Terrell, mate. The problem with the failed reformation theory is that they re-signed him this year. And considering the things in Angus's statement that we know aren't true, it tells me there's more to this. Yeah, it definitely makes the theory less plausible. But I don't think it rules it out completely. Towards, like... Potentially there were things towards the run home for the Roosters this year. Obviously it was short of what they were hoping for. Perhaps Terrell did things that, you know, weren't positive to the group. So Tonga halfway through their attacking set here. It'll be Sonny Luke at dummy half. Lolohea playing the ball. Not the most conventional play of the ball. And Luke's confident. And Olakau'atu goes himself. Nearly gets to the line, but is wrapped up by a whole heap of Kiwis. Last tackle now. Luke. Across to Isaiah Katoa, who will kick across field. In goal is... Was it Warbrick? And the ball hit the ground. I'll tell you what, there was an option there for Tonga, but CNK ends up with the ball. And Lancaster just adds to the point by saying he means Angus said things like he doesn't even drink when May got into a scandal this year for doing lines on a live stream. It's fair. I mean, I want to give benefit of the doubt to any players. Perhaps he changed after that, and maybe now he doesn't drink, but regardless, this whole thing, it's a lack of information that has left us all speculating, and generally I don't like to speculate. Alex Neal, rule changes won't make the Panthers worse. Their junior league has handily replaced basically everyone who's left them. They'll be a top 4 team for the next 20 years. I'm not so adamant that it will be for the next 20 years, but I'm comfortable to say foreseeable future. Yeah, they found a way to harness that for sure. Be disappointed says, if the game has a powder problem, it's because the world has a powder problem. I always say, we've got 500 men aged 18 to 34 from mostly rough backgrounds in rugby league. The behavior is actually pretty good. It would be much better, I think, than a random sample of 18 to 35-year-old men. But anyway. So an offload there from Tonga, and they do spread it out wide to Daniel Tupou, who gets the ball up over the 40-meter line. Sully going himself, trying to get the ball away to Tupanua, but is wrapped up eventually. Voice break there from Todd Smith. Luke across to Isaiah Katoa. Nice little kick from him. Finds his Kini. Is it underneath? No, Isako. And Lancaster, the only possible explanation that would normally make sense is clearing cap space, but the Roosters have already lost half their team on top of the sombrero. But yeah, as Danny says, I mean, we don't really know anything, so it is tough to speculate on. And yeah, for the record, I'm absolutely not claiming that Terrell May has off-field problems. I actually believe that he doesn't. Yes, Tiger, I have seen NRL bad lip reading. They are absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I agree. Speculating is not something I'm a fan of doing. Keeney out the back. There we go with a bit of speed. That's like what we saw from him last week. He's tackled on the last. New Zealand, very important that they score this next try. Johnson across, trying to find Will Warbrick. It's a one-on-one battle, and Katoa does win it. Very good take from him. Breaking a few tackles as well. Good stuff. Lancaster and NZ have recovered nicely from that brain fade at the start of the half, at least. They did survive with their defense. It was good defense, and they got field position back. But it was a very good take there from Katoa to defuse that situation. Vincent Spears, do you have Cronulla finishing top 4 next year? Absolutely, I do. I'll have to sit down and properly go through my whole ladder thing, probably later this off season. But I expect them to improve quite a lot with AFB in their team. So now Alamotti does get outside Timoko one-on-one and an offload to Sonny Luke. Back through Katoa, who gets outside Crossland, running himself. He had Hopewadi unmarked inside him, just didn't know he was there. Now Hopewadi at a bit of a standstill, doesn't know what to do. Does get the ball out to Lolohea on the back foot. Puts the little grubber in, puts a second kick in. I'll tell you what, there was, yeah, Danny, I agree with you completely. They were gone if Katoa had passed there to Leaguie. That was a very big opportunity miss there. Big opportunity miss. But New Zealand get away with it and work away out of their own half through Will Warbrick. But yeah, that to me came out of Paul Alamoti beating Matt Timoko. And Timoko had a really tough time of it last week against Tom Trbojevic. It just created that broken play, and that allowed the line break. So now across Papali'i through Keanu Keeney. Okay, Keeney seems to be playing with quite a bit more confidence than he did in that first half. Across now Sean Johnson. They're still not quite in attacking field position yet, but they are working their way to it. Good tackle, good take there from Leaguie. Reverse Clouds, the thing that cheapens the Pacific Championship is the playoff game for relegation. Like if you finish third, you're relegated. What's the point of having it? It seems so half-assed. It's the point of having it is just to give that lower tier a chance to get up to the top tier, but it's not as simple as you finish third and you're relegated. I mean, I expect that I expect that Papua New Guinea will be in that game, beating Cook Islands tomorrow, and presumably they'll be against New Zealand. I don't expect that will be much of a contest. I expect New Zealand to get through their work pretty easily. So yeah, it's just to open it up so you don't have two completely separate tournaments. Danny says they're missing AFB. They are, but he needs a spell, and they are surviving while he's off the field. Be disappointed, says AFB in line for the Jugru medal, and it's not even on the field. Is that what we're calling my man of the match, the Jugru medal? Tiger says Cook Islands win by 40 points tomorrow. That is insane. That is absurd. But oh, okay, very high contact there on Keeney from Hamole Olakoatu, and that could be a little bit of a problem. Pete says, where did the promotion and relegation concept come from? NRL or IRL? I don't know, but I do know the Pacific Championships is the NRL's baby. So my guess is NRL. Tiger says, send him off. In the NRL level, it wouldn't shock me that that's a sin bin. It won't be in this, but you have to remember the rules are different. We play with international rules in this, so the NRL interpretations are not necessarily applied here. So across now through Griffin Neem. Texas Pro tried to take his head off. I'm not sure it was as bad as that, but was high for sure. A little bit of a slap maybe. Although a slap from Hamalo Olkwado probably feels like a dump truck hitting you in the face. Nafahu White crabbing across the field. Does get the ball away to Joe Tarpany. Going himself. And okay, here we go. The Kiwis are building here. They're inside the 10 on the third. Crossland with a quick play of the ball. Across to Griffin Neem. Can Tonga hold on defensively? If they want to beat the Kangaroos next week, they'll have to show defense. And they've got him strapped for numbers here. Kearney himself, easy as you like, doesn't ground the ball, but does take it back in. And we have a game on our hands. The cap is back to 14. As soon as Kearney got the ball, he had the explosive pace to get out wide. And it's Keanu Kearney. I said he was playing with confidence, a lot more so than in the first half. And you just see he got the ball, and Sully did. Sully's a good defensive center, but he did get caught in field there, and you could shut the gate from that point onwards. Pete says the IRL board member said Velanis and Abdo are also part of the IRL. So okay, it could be that as well. Lancaster says potentially obstruction. I haven't seen obstruction on the replays. We'll see. I thought it just looked like pace from Kearney, to be honest. Be disappointed. He says promotion relegation comes from the idea that there are tier 1 nations and tier 2 nations. Well, I don't know where it comes from, but I would think it's just so as to connect the two tournaments. Texas, I was going for Tonga because they were underdogs, but now I'll go for Kiwis. Fair enough. I mean, that's a good thing about International Rugby League. You can just enjoy it as a neutral for what it is. But yeah, no, I'm well and truly going for Tonga. I mean, I don't want to say that they deserve to win it, but I think it would be better for Rugby League if they do. So Osako lining up the kick from quite far out wide, not quite the sideline, but drills it himself. It was somewhat close to the post, but 24-12 it is. And the next try in this game is so So important. So important. There is such a big difference between 30 points to 12 and 24 points to 18. Reverse Clouds, I'd rather we play all comps under international rules. Games seem to flow better. Yeah, there is only a really subtle difference between the two. I would say that the game's flowing better is more to do with the fact that the players don't have the same structured defensive systems that we see in club footy. They're not used to playing next to each other, so we do see a lot more open play. But yeah, there is certainly a difference in the rules. Lancaster says, man, it's crazy how big the gap between Kiwi pre-Des and post-Des is. He's been good. I mean, that first half in this game was not his best, but I'm excited from a Titans perspective for sure. Be disappointed, says Coach Cleary next in line. He wants something to do next November. You reckon he could juggle the dual responsibilities? So Papa Leaguie taking it over halfway, and New Zealand seems to just be getting a bit of that field possession back. Crossing goes himself. Tiger says, what do you think of Gutho being released by Para? Absurd. I do not understand it at all. I know they have faith in Iongi, but I rate Gutherson so highly, and I think he'll go to the Dragons and be very good. Tupou catches the ball safely, but he is jumped upon by a few New Zealand Kiwis players, and they've got Tonga where they want them. Timobo says Kiwis finally switched on. It does seem that way. They seem to have that physicality that we were commending Tonga for having in the first half. They're making it hard for them. Lancaster says, hey, Jet Cleary, he was in my young brother's class. He's also NZ eligible like Nathan was. Cannot wait to see Cleary versus Cleary at the next World Cup. I hope Jet turns into the player that people are, signing him up to be. But, God, he's going to struggle with that surname. He's going to have so much pressure on him. So from inside the 40, Katoa kicks it, not necessarily going for a 40-20. No, it's just straight down the throat of Keeney. And yeah, this is the kind of field position that we saw Tonga having in the first half. GR Pete says, I reckon the next rule change would be the scrum, because Volandis get trolled by Rugby Australia on our competitive scrum. I certainly hope Volandis doesn't decide to change rules based on the fact that he personally gets trolled. But that wouldn't shock me. I like the fact, though, that, okay, we don't have competitive scrums, but it's a set play. You take the forwards out of the defensive line. I think that means something. Caleb says, is this how you pronounce your name? Yeah, it's Jug-roo, like a jug of water and kangaroo. There we go. Error from New Zealand. Again, the errors are stopping them getting to the ends of their sets there. It kills their momentum. It must be so frustrating for Kiwis fans to watch. Back rower, it's Sorensen. Okay, Caleb, no worries. I appreciate you asking. Fanua Blake coming back onto the field now, and this is where I think we could see that momentum shift back. Lancaster says, I've heard by me when I made the comment at r/NRL, the part of Gutho's deal is that he gets to harvest body parts from Dargan supporters because half of his are broken. Well, I mean, if he can take them to a finals finish, I'm sure there's a lot of Dargan supporters that would be more than happy to give a limb or two. Danny says, but with all these players, I think they might have it. Dragons, that Ben Hunt leaving made me think they get the spoon, but now they finish 8-7. Well, that's a big swing. I'm curious to see how they go with Carl Flanagan at 7, but he was essentially the dominant half, in my opinion, the game managing half this year. Anyway, NRL, if Kiwi lose, do they get eliminated? They get eliminated from being able to win the tournament, but they will still play next week in the third place game. And Tonga draw a penalty there. Is it within range for them to take the 2? I'm not sure. Isaiah Katoa will be considering it for sure. How far out are they? I'm trying to get a good look here. As Cooper Cronk struggles to pronounce Olakawatu again. NRL head, how does it work? Okay. You've got the top 3 teams, right? They play in the cup. Bottom 3 teams play in the bowl. The 2 teams that finish the top of the cup play in the final, and the team that finishes 3rd in the cup plays the team that finishes top of the bowl in a promotion relegation game. Lancaster says Hunt was very much the dominant half. I don't know if I'd say he was the game managing half, since he's not very good at that, historically speaking. Yeah, I sort of misspoke. I meant the game managing half. Dominant probably wasn't the right word to use, but in many respects, he was sort of a 6 Kyle had that game managing role. As we hear the hymns go up, oh, I love it. I love it when the Tongan fans sing their hymns. Isn't it just magical? Whanua Blake back on the field now. And it just must be so inspiring for the players. If they could score here when the hymns are being sung, oh man. Katoa. What other sport in the world do you have fans singing religious hymns? Ah, bro. Across Taniela Paseka. Be disappointing. Virgin Godless Black and White versus Chad hymn singing Tonga fans. Oh, it's just beautiful. Across to Lola here, and it's a knock on from Alamotti. Sorry, from Suli. They're not going to care. I imagine they're going to keep singing the hymns. And Arrowhead says, wait, there's 2 finals and then again another final? No. So next week, the winner of this game plays Australia in the grand final. The loser of this game plays probably Papua New Guinea in a promotion relegation game. And Sully, he did catch the ball. It was just sort of stripped in some respects by SJ, but it was a loose carry really. So New Zealand do survive. Lancaster, they're casting a spell. If they score while the hymn is on, it's going to be 50 points. It's going to be magical if they score when the hymn is on, that is for sure. One of my favorite ever clips from any rugby league game, I think it was the 2017 World Cup, Tonga versus Samoa, if those 2 teams played. It was definitely Tonga. And I think it was Ata Hingano was lining up a conversion, and the whole Campbelltown Sports Stadium just read C. As Petahiku does get away, and it's Keanu Kearney does catch, and it's a try. It's a try for New Zealand. And the game is well and truly back on. I said the next try was vital. 24 points to 16. When Tonga went up, people will say, what a bad way for SJ to go out. I said a comeback would be the ultimate way. The ultimate way. As I lose frames again. Do I just lose frames whenever tries are scored? Anyway, that was great quick hands there. Hiku getting back inside. Kini identified that there were Tonga players on him, and SJ with the try assist there. Lancaster's Tonga did the right thing, let SJ get a try. Well, they certainly won't now, because it is game on well and truly. It seemed to work last time I unplugged the camera and plugged it in again, so Garfield on my days. And we're back. That was impressive. That was impressive from the Kiwis. Capitalizing on that opportunity. Ball movement goes crazy, said Tex. I agree for sure. Phoenix Crossan gets his first try for New Zealand. One of the players that was getting emotional during that national anthem. And with 20 minutes to go, we're probably going to see it go out to 24 points to 18 here. And the game is on in a big, big way. What an advertisement for rugby league, for international rugby league this has been so far. Reverse classes, honest supporters chance should become a regular thing. You mean like a brutally honest supporters chance? Kiwi fans love it. Tonga says if Tonga... Sorry, Be Disappointing says if Tonga win, they invented Pavlova, don't argue. I won't get into the Pavlova debate. That's something that I think I could only ever lose supporters from rather than gain. So Jermaine Asako lines up the kick, and it is over the black dot. Easy as you like. And it's 24 points to 18. There's a converted try in it. How on earth did we get here? We've come so far from Maratani Ukore knocking it on, literally from the kick return. That's impressive stuff. Danny says Tigers come in, take over for Tonga, and win by 60. What the... We were saying in the first half that the Kiwis wouldn't even beat the Tigers. Now we're going the other way. We're going to a draw prediction vid. What is there to predict? That's a funny idea, though. Tonga, can you respond? It's over to them. It's over the end to show that physicality they showed in the opening 20 minutes. Will they respond here? NRhead says, what a game. Agreed completely so far. And we've still got a quarter to go. Crossland across to Fisher Harris. The captain goes into the teeth of it with Siwa Wong and Adam Fanua Blake. The man he's replacing at the New Zealand Warriors, Sorensen, into the meat of it as well. Looking to get an offload to Crossland. Can't quite get there. Texas, do a last 20 minutes prediction vid. I have no idea what to expect from this last 20. CNK with his hands on the ball does get a little bit of a line break there. But the ball comes through from Scott Sorensen. Errors again. Man, it's tough to watch. As soon as they get on the front foot, the errors cost them. Reverse classes, I don't know, just try. Guess what games will be in which rounds. See how many you get right. It would literally just be like random prediction, shooting blindly. Tim Ober says, guess this won't be a rout. Yeah, I said, you know, New Zealand have the quality to come back, and they well and truly did. GRP reverse cards chance, like it should have been 10, it should have been 10, it should have been 10. F off back to London, it should have been 10. But I do like the English style chants for sure. Fanua Blake up through the line. Kiwis win 26-24, says Zion. Hopawadi across, finds Alamotti, who steps back in field. And they're ahead, so there's like two levels where Oz, New Zealand, Tonga play, and the second level is Cook, Fiji, and PNG. Absolutely. Was they just died on it with a fifth no touch from New Zealand. Disappointing. Tonga not getting to their kick. Eli Katoa's wanting something. Leah Alpawadi has gone down. Are we going to get a captain's challenge? Lancaster says, is lamb a sheep product? It is, I recall. I'm eating lamb, so that means Kiwis are going to win. We are certainly getting into very vibey areas if that's what our predictions are based on. Be disappointing. Australia produced better lamb, but beef is god awful. I'm a chicken man myself. Fisher Harris plays the ball. So no challenge there from Tonga. Probably a good thing. I didn't think they were going to win it. Warbrick. And now through Matt Timoko, who I think owes New Zealand a little bit. He's struggled in game one, had an error, at least maybe even two so far in this game. Isaiah Papali'i now tracking back into the field. Had Sorensen outside and couldn't find him. So on the third, and they are making good meters. Nickel Klokstad, okay, he's getting some ball now. And our head, who does Samoa play for? Samoa are playing a two-test series over in England, completely separate. White across to Johnson, now with Keeney. Stepping around. Does he get around Lola here? Not quite. Danny hates Papali'i, a base Tigers opinion. Johnson with a chip over the top. It is a contest. I tell you what, I thought that Katoa and Hopawadi were going to bump into each other there. Turned out to be okay. And at our head, no. So it's organised independently. Like last year, Tonga were the team that went over to England to play. Next year, I think it will be Australia. So, no, it's not necessarily that they play each year. So Tonga, that ball finding the ground, and they've just lost momentum, really. It's nothing like what it was in the first half. Siwa Wong trying to get that back. And, okay, there's an offload now. Get that momentum back. We'll see a quick play the ball here from Katoa. Sonny Luke goes himself. Now through Taumalolo, up to halfway. That's a bit better from the Tongan boys. Field position is king. Now Isaiah Katoa, is he going to just put it over the sideline? Yes, he is. No, it stays in. He certainly was trying to, but the bounce kept it in. Keeney now. And it just looks like New Zealand have that bit more energy. It's the opposite of last game for them, where they faded towards the end. Now with Sarko stepping into the line there. So Cody Nikarima, who we haven't seen so far this game, to my memory, looking like he'll come on field for Phineas Crosland to finish this game off. SJ now, crabbing across field, finds Nickel Klokstad. They finally decided to unlock him, and Timoko goes himself. Does get away. Katoa wraps it up, and it's a knock on there. Man. Now Sione Katoa goes himself. Sean Johnson chasing. is wrapped up, sideline threatening. Geez, that's good play from SJ. That's very good play from SJ, the veteran. He's playing for a knock-on. The touch judge is saying he's held it. Absolutely bang for it. Paul Alamonte doesn't know what to do. Matt Timoko, though, with another loose carry. Siwa Wong gets the ball away to Fanua Blake. Now they've got a bit of space there. Looks to spread it. Doesn't spread it. Runs himself. I tell you what. Pete Hiku eventually wraps him up. Now across Sonny Luke. Stepping inside is big Jason Tamalolo on Hiku as himself. Straightens up, goes himself. The Tongans are looking very threatening here, ladies and gents. Sonny Luke goes himself to try and find a second try of the game. He has a habit of being a little bit trigger happy, does Sonny Luke, and I feel like he stifled it a little there. He is in agony though. He's very hurt. And Fisher Harris picks him up. His Penrith teammate. I tell you what, that's a pretty bad look. That's a pretty bad look. Pene Hiku copped quite a lengthy suspension in the Super League for doing that not very long ago. Lancaster says that's not right, Fish. Picking up an injured player like that is not a good thing. I'm not a fan of that, and it could cost his team. If it's a penalty here, that could take it out to a two-score game. That's particularly interesting given that they're, well, ex-teammates, I suppose, but both Penrith players until next season. So presumably they've got a relationship there. They're showing the replay of the Johnson tackle. That's potentially saved the game for them in some ways. That's very good from the veteran on a faster winger. I remember one of my earliest memories of Sean Johnson was, I think it might have been 2014. Michael Jennings, who was regarded as like the fastest player in the world at that point, intercepted against the Warriors playing for the Roosters and was chased down by this young halfback. And I was like, damn, that halfback got wheels. Who's he? It was SJ. So no penalty, interesting. Olakau'atu kicks himself into the in goal. Isako does get out. I'm a little interested that wasn't a penalty from Fisher Harris. But regardless, New Zealand do survive on the second, working it out of their own end. Keeney tackled very well there from Katoa. Caleb says if Sonny played the ball, I think Jace would have done a crash play. We'll never know. Lancaster says, I wouldn't be against the send-off for what Fish just did. That's disgusting. I agree completely. I'm just trying to move it on, but I'm quite surprised at that decision. New Zealand well and truly in space. Now Pete Hiku does get across. Does break a tackle. As I say, Pete Hiku copped a lengthy suspension for doing that in the Super League Grand Final. 58 meters gain. Johnson stepping himself. Finds Keeney, who just about makes it through the line. Desperate offload back. Joe Tarpany kicks himself. It's play on. He's 1-on-1 with a... And oh my days. Oh my days. What a solo try for Joe Tarpany. Guys, we're about to be level. That is outrageous. Joseph Tarpany. I'm dropping frames. I swear when New Zealand score, I drop frames. That's crazy. Just topping it on himself, and all of a sudden there was space, and he was 1-on-1 with a winger. Be disappointed, he's going nuts. What a comeback it is. I mean, irrespective of what we saw happen at the other end of the field, you can't take that brilliance away from Joe Tarpany. So SJ stepping himself, desperate offload there from Keeney. That just didn't work, and Tarpany just went himself. The chase wasn't great. He was 1-on-1 with Katoa, and Katoa, what can you do? What can you do? He is such a brilliant front rower, Joe Tarpany. And the skill to do that, the bounce was magnificent. Vita's Boy says, Tarp's taking the game by the balls, though. Chugru medal win. I mean, quite possibly, if New Zealand win this game, Joe Tarpany has been big physically. That was unreal. Teo says, this game is insane. I thought it was already decided in the first few minutes, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. It is, I mean, we see so many games of International Rugby League that are this close, are this brilliant, and then the championship ends and we just forget. and all of a sudden everyone's off rugby league, international rugby league again, and it drives me up the wall. But if you are indifferent about the international game and you're watching this, tell me, like, how do you justify that opinion? Because this is so entertaining. Isako from in front locks us up. It's 24-all with 12 minutes to go. What a comeback from New Zealand in front of their home crowd. Tonga are, I'm sure, stunned. But I tell you what, when the ball bounces for you like that, it takes a lot to stop you. Lancaster says, now it comes to a shootout, and in a shootout, I'm taking veteran clutch SJ over inexperienced Katoa. Yeah, well, when do you go for the field goal? I want to draw attention to the fact that it was, I think in the first half, the score was 24-6 with about a minute to go. And I said, did Tonga line up for the field goal here? Get it out to a 19-point lead. I just want to say I might be the greatest game manager in rugby league history, because Tonga would be winning if they'd done that. Would be winning. And Lancaster, fair enough, you did call a comeback. Look at that. 4 tries to Tonga, 4 tries to New Zealand. This is crazy. In consecutive blocks. 4 for Tonga, 4 for NZ. O'Dally M 2025 says, this guy's team carry, I swear. Danny says, I jinxed it. GRP says, he went Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. Zed says, boomers don't justify their opinions or decisions, certainly not on the international game. And New Zealand full of confidence. Hiku stepping inside. We got wrapped up well by Sully, but the ball does get away. Papali'i, they are just in offload heaven right now. There's space on that side if Chance can find it. Does sort of stifle himself there. And yes, that one pointer in the first half would have been insane. New Zealand, SJ just tackled on the last. That's not his fault. It was a poor pass. Had to catch it too high. Anarhead says, when are your Rugby League live vids coming out? Hard to say. I'm pretty much working on it every day to try and get everything in order, but I am having so much trouble. I don't know if any of you guys have tried to customize Rugby League Live 4 before, but it is so hard. They've got so many blocks in place that you can't edit tier 1 players, they call them. Regardless, I'm working on it as fast as I can, but they'll come later in the off-season. Zeon says, wheels are falling off the Tongan carts. They're just about holding on, but the momentum is all with the Kiwis. They can get it back. It just takes a moment. Rugby league at this level is about moments. On the 4th now, a little bit of space there for Lola here. Gets the ball away, and then knock on there from Fanil Blake. The pass was poor. And now, the field position for New Zealand, if they want to go, we're inside 10 minutes. We're inside 10 minutes. I think it's harsh for Danny to say AFB is throwing. That ball was low. I think it was a poor decision to offload there. But NZ will have the field position towards the end of the set to have a very good go at a field goal. Be disappointing. Shiwis playing tomorrow. Who's the Shiwis? Oh, like female Kiwis. I don't know, actually. The Ferns. I know that Cook Islands are playing PNG tomorrow. I'll be streaming that, and I expect it's going to be a big stream tomorrow, full of Papua New Guineans, so stick around for that tomorrow. But yeah, not too sure about the girls. And Pete, yep, you were 100% correct, and I was saying the same thing. Long way to go. Also, let me know in the chat. Let's see a show of hands. Do you take the field goal at the end of this set if you're the Kiwis? I personally do. Toaster Crumbs, I'd take a tie, but I'd be cranky if the Kiwis win. I'm not sure what happens if it's a tie. In terms of I guess it would just come to points differential. So 24-all, 4th tackle. Papali'i went himself. Jesus Christ, there was a chance there. Nikarima goes himself, forces a dropout. I tell you what, I thought they'd blown it by not setting up for the field goal. They do draw the repeat set, and you'd have to think Tonga goes short here. If they go long, they're inviting the field goal. Captain's challenge from then, though. If this is a successful challenge and NZ blow the chance for a field goal there, that's very disappointing from them. Okay, this is a huge captain's challenge in the context of this year's Pacific Championships. Warren Smith thinks they're clutching at the straws, though. We'll see. Kick from Katoa. Everyone's... Okay, they're playing through. Are they going to rule the push from Hadamalo as a penalty? Okay, just a drop out. Yeah, Danny says stupid challenge. I mean, with 8.5 minutes to go at such a big point in the game, I kind of don't mind them putting in the challenge there. But surely they go short, try and find big tall Daniel Tupou out wide. They do, and they do go towards Tupou. He's up for it, and it's caught by Keeney. It's caught by Keeney. Lancaster, I agree. Field goal now. While Plinchor Sport says, holy moly, they've got to set up for it here. It would be a disaster if they don't get a field goal in this set. This is right now on the second ultimate field goal position here. Nikarima does not go out to him. Finds Fisher Harris. Now they're in good position. They still don't go to SJ. SJ is just barking orders. He's barking orders. Letting the troops go around the park. Will they go now? They still won't go now. They go out wide. Okay, back underneath is Isaiah Papali'i. They will be in range on this last. They're not quite in front. They are too close. SJ goes short. They die with the ball. Are you... Guys, I'm not sure I understand rugby league. What? Mate, I'm going for Tonga in this game. How on earth did New Zealand not set up for a field goal in those two sets? I don't understand. I don't understand, mate. That was crazy. What the hell? Tamalolo now, working it up on the third. Guys, I'm stunned. How do you not get to a field goal there? Lola here now. Finding Sully, who breaks through a couple. Fourth tackle, finding Fanua Blake. The field position, they've worked it good out of their own end. Tech says teams like to pretend the game won't end until there's 4 seconds left. I don't get it. I can't speak. That was diabolical. I can't speak. Dio says Leaguie bringing out the accent is crazy. It takes extreme points for me to bring out my Liverpudlian accent, my Scouse accent. Lancaster says they're not going to get anywhere near that good of a shot again. I don't understand why that entire set wasn't about setting up for a field goal. Why on the fourth? And it was Sean Johnson. He took it out wide. He took it too close. Toaster Crumb says the field goal debate can be summed up as honor versus efficiency. I don't see a dishonor in an early field goal though. It's you play to win. So on the fourth, they've got a big line set out wide. Keeney, it was important that Sully got a piece of him there because that was going to be very dangerous if he didn't. SJ, not in range for a field goal, just puts the ball up. 5.5 to go. Caught well by Paul Alamotti, who does get the ball away there to Sione Katoa. And ahead, are you streaming the final? I sure will. Both the finals of the promotion relegation game and the final. It will be a double header. Be disappointing. You get honor, you win or you don't. Yep. Katoa is taking one of this set. He's within 40. If Tonga get a long range field goal, particularly, that would just be so funny. They seem to be setting up for it. Big hit ups through the middle. Taumalolo. Surely you go one more. Kalfusi across in behind the right. Okay, surely here they go for it. I mean, it's long range, but surely they go for it. They do. Katoa. It's low. They're celebrating. It's good. It's good. Hell yes. Sea of Red. The Sea of Red goes up. Guys, I mean... it just doesn't make sense. Why is it that the team with the 20-year-old rookie inexperienced halfback sets up for their field goal from greater distance than the team with veteran Sean Johnson? It makes no sense. 25 points to 24, 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. That is a hell of a moment in International Rugby League from a guy, Isaiah Katoa, who I firmly believe is going to transform the way the International Rugby League landscape looks. These island nations have lacked spine players, and he's one of the best young halves in the game. He's one of the best young halves in the game. We've still got a lot of time left. A lot of time left. But that is a big, big moment. Lancaster's criticism is so valid. How do you get outmanaged by someone half your age, SJ? It's crazy. And Jordan reckons he has proof of what team I support. If it's Tonga, then definitely in this game. Felice Kaufusi going himself. They've just got to hold the ball and soak up time, surely. Be disappointed, says Coach Madge. I need you. Why do you hide your face from me? My enemies are all about to save me from their snares. Oh, yep. No, fair enough. Scoreboard. Yep. Water, fair enough. I got very caught up in that excitement. It's 25-24. Tiger gets water. And yeah, it was low. Katoa gets the ball up. There'll be 3 minutes and 45 seconds by the time New Zealand get the ball here, but they're inside their 10. Tex says, low-key think it takes ego not to take the field goal. I can't explain it. Sylvester is excited. He says, go Tonga. Alex Neal, goodbye to the Sean Johnson era. We'll remember you fondly. Hello to the Isaiah Katoa era. Have we seen the baton passed of the exciting halfback? Fan-made wants Tonga to win. Jordan's spruiking conspiracy theories about who I support. But 3 minutes to go. I'm just keeping my eyes on this game. On the 5th, they haven't... 25-meter gain. That is very poor. Chip and chase from Johnson. Keeney was taken out. Huge. Huge. That's massive. And I said that I doubt Tonga will regret losing that challenge. Maybe they will now. Because that is something they definitely would have challenged. And they're going for goal. They're going for goal. Guys, they're 40 meters out. It's all going to come down to this. This is huge. This is... what a... New Zealand could kick for touch, set up the field goal, take it. That's the safe option, I would assume. Jermaine Isako's capable, though. He is very capable of kicking this. It's a long way out. It is from quite in front. Is it going to have the legs? 2 minutes to go. He'll soak up as much time as he possibly can. Isako kicks it. It's wide. It's wide. The Tongans celebrate. The 20-meter restart, the 20-meter dropout. 20-meter dropout. Okay, so look, it's because it went dead because they didn't catch it. They should have. They very much should have caught it. Fair enough. That's a big moment, and actually even I was not aware to that. But the fact that that went dead, guys. New Zealand will have another chance here, potentially to take a 2-point field goal. We'll see. Yeah, the ruling is when you take a penalty shot and it goes dead, it's a 2, but doesn't get between the posts, it's a 20-meter dropout. I only know that because of how many times I've missed penalty goals in Rugby League Live. So, big set here. 1:40 to go. Rose Cloud's good point, not knowing the rules is quite poor. I've got to be honest though, even I was caught up in the moment and did not think of that, but they should have caught the ball regardless. On the 2nd, over halfway, the ball goes out to the back. Was that touched? Wasn't touched. On the 2nd. On the 3rd, they're not making a heap of ground, it must be said. Now through Leo Thompson, out the back to Keeney. Isaiah Papali'i on Lolohea. Plays it very quickly. Petahiku going back towards the middle of the field. SJ now. Caught with Fisher Harris. And they do that. Okay, that was a good setup. It's all going to come down to this. On the last. SJ's in the pocket. He's in space. Catches it. Ducks, weaves. It's charged down. New Zealand get the ball back. It's 6 again. 6 again. We're alive. Isako takes it himself. And it's out wide. You're kidding. It was 6-4. He had time. They had time to set up. How long to go, says Wobble and Jaw Sports? 38 seconds. They're going to challenge. Guys, that was a rush of blood from Isako. Look, he had space, but they why? Rush of blood. There's so many people in the comments. Thank you. I'm trying to just focus on the game. This is mental. International Rugby League, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. Live it. Wow. What have we got here? So New Zealand are ruling that the charge down was attacking the legs of Shaun Johnson. Charger, surely not. Any contact is incidental. It's over. 38 seconds Tonga have to survive. You can understand New Zealand challenging, but Isako kicking that... Look, he had space, but it was also 6 again. They could have set up for a better look than that. That's a rush of blood. This is an actual all-time classic. This is a classic. I'm so happy for International Rugby League today. Be disappointing. Stacey Jones, the unluckiest. Look, I don't know how much of this is down to his coaching, but there was absolute issues for the New Zealand Kiwis in managing the key moments where the field goal was on offer and they didn't go for it. And Tonga had one opportunity from a big distance. Havili goes across to Tamalolo. Fisher Harris trying the strip. Those are two of the biggest men in rugby league, over halfway now. Fisher Harris is trying to drag up the second Tongan for this game. Ball is played. Havili will just wrap it up and get into the line. Is tackled. The Tongans run onto the field. Guys, hell yes, let's go. International Rugby League at its absolute best. 25 points to 24. What a game. What a game. 4 Tongan tries, followed by 4 Kiwi tries, followed by a field goal shootout for the ages, and Isaiah Katoa, a young halfback, 20 years old, a guy who is going to be dominant on this international stage for a decade plus to come, taking the one moment that was available to him and icing it, completely icing it. 25 points to 24. I just want to take out one moment in the excitement. Shaun Johnson is disappointed here. Respect to Shaun Johnson for coming out of retirement, answering the call of his beloved Kiwis, and showing up when it matters. Sure, he didn't get the job done. Sure, it was down to him to manage the end of that game, but what a champion player he has been for the Warriors and the Kiwis. This won't tarnish the way we remember him, okay? He'll be remembered for that final game for the New Zealand Warriors. I'm confident of that. What a player he has been. Today was not the day for him, but don't forget, like, he was a massive part of that comeback. He did get them back into this game. It's just Tonga time. It's Tonga time. That is a historic win. That is a genuinely very historic win for Tonga. I am so happy as an international rugby league fan, and to see that crowd, that sea of red go up was such an awesome moment. Such an awesome moment. NRL head, yes, New Zealand will, not play the winner tomorrow. If PNG win tomorrow, New Zealand will play PNG. If Cook Islands win tomorrow, which is very unlikely, it will come down to points difference. Let's go, boys. I've lost energy. I can't speak. Roble and Jaw Sports, easily the best day of Pacific Championships so far. Yeah, I mean, just to think as well, there are a number of players, the likes of Jerome Hughes, right, who could have been playing in this fixture. The likes of Dylan Brown, I think, was quite validly injured. There are a lot of guys that could have been playing in this fixture and aren't. The International Rugby League can be even higher caliber than this. But what a day. What a day. Reverse Clouds, loving that Tonga has won it, but poor old SJ was challenging for the markers, not square. And they didn't even have a look at that. And to be fair, I mean, they do look at a lot of things we don't see. But, I mean, look, okay, whatever we would have to say, anyone saying New Zealand were dudded, I think it's quite valid to say that Tonga were unlucky to not be to not receive a penalty for Fisher Harris picking up Sonny Luke. For that to just be play on, I think there's going to be a bit more talk about that in the fallout of the game. We'll see. But yeah, it was a moment. Toast to crumbs. Sako is almost perfect with the Dolphins. While he missed those two as an Aussie, I hope Tonga win the finals. It'd be the ultimate victory for International Rugby League. I will be so one-eyed next week. Guys, if you're coming to the stream looking for an unbiased approach to Tonga versus Australia, you ain't going to get it. Because if you thought I was biased in the game last week, sorry, 2 weeks ago between the sides, it's going to be next level in the final. And Combank Stadium in Sydney is going to be rocking with Tongan flags. Danny says Sonny Luke should have been a pen and they would have got, yeah, they would have taken the 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Chappie, oh, you absolute dickhead, that was absolutely diabolical. Typical, bloody Wigan. Yeah. I love that line of commentary is just outstanding. It's going to be a yellow card. You bottleless Kit Campbell. Reverse Clouds, New Zealand not dudded, but was just funny they didn't even check it considering that's why he challenged. He turned into Jono Loves Holden. I will never turn into Jono Loves Holden. And yes, good, we've got a bit of Tonga bias in the chat. Unreal. NRL head, I agree. That was such a good game. Such a good game. Now, normally, as you guys know, I hang around for a little bit afterwards. Today can't be one of those days. I've got to cut it short, but there's 69 of you here. Very nice. Thank you all for being here. It still blows my mind that I can broadcast and you guys will be here. Such a good vibe watching international games with you. I love the fact we've been able to share in it. So thank you for coming along. Thank you for hanging out. If you enjoyed the stream, you know, subscribe for more because there will be a lot more, particularly next season. Looking to build on the live streaming a lot. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. And I'll be back tomorrow for PNG versus Cook Islands. I expect PNG are going to be well on song. We're going to see some really good attacking football from them. So watch the game, watch the stream, and yeah, I will see you guys later.